live. There we go. Hey everybody. I'm just checking out, it's just Sunday, it's just checking out the stuff that you guys sent me as comments. So I thought I would let you know what I think about some of this stuff. I haven't had a chance to do that. Of course, this is my fan page, or my public page as they call it, so it's not my show. I can do what I want. I can do what I want on my show too, but I'm snacking. You'll see me eat and drink. And that's just the way it is. Okay. And I'll try to check in with questions and stuff here in a minute. Okay, so did y'all see the Dog and Pony show on Indigenous Life Movement earlier? They had a group of migrants. They had a group of migrants performing with oh God, what's that guy's name? What is his name? Hold on. I'll tell you what his name is in a minute. Oh, I remember. I sent this information to the press. Who's that guy that's hanging out with, what's his name? He's from Ohio, but he was at Standing Rock. Elfers. The Elfers guy. The elf man. That dude. He's like out there with Laura, Christina, Livingston, Bugga, Lolly B. And they're like, they've got people like hitting sticks together, and they got those little maraca eggs, and they're just like, I don't know, it's so gross to watch them like exploit people that way. I mean, I get people wanting to sit around and have fun, but you're having a bunch of people play background music for some guy doing a rap, and I don't know, it felt like it was like having them perform like circus monkeys or something. To me. That's me. So I saw some interesting comments after my last show I wanted to share with you. See if I can find them. Some of this stuff is just hilarious. So I don't remember exactly which show it was, the last one or the one before that. But recently, this guy named Dwayne Redwater tagged us in his post and said, let's see. I've been trying to get a hold of this place, which is our station, presumably. Here, let me show you. Check it out. He says, I have been trying to get a hold of this place. You see he's tagged 88.1 FM, so that's who the place is. And he goes, it's not working. I'm from the Dakotas, and I would like to talk to someone, accusing my red and brown brothers of a lot of false accusations. And I'm like, well, I'm assuming that means, I'll show you my response to him too. I'm assuming that means he's talking about Wiaka and the other people he was with, Vivian Farmery or whatever her name is. And what I accused them of is being in Tijuana with nefarious purposes, not being honest about their real purposes of being in Tijuana, and exploiting the caravan for their marketing or whatever it is that they think that they're doing. It is some colonial bullshit. I can cuss on my own personal page too. See that? Okay, so anyway, this is what I said back. I said, oh, were you the person who left a message about not liking the show without leaving your name or asking for a callback? For someone saying you're trying to get a hold of us, that's pretty lame. That's a pretty lame attempt. Why not leave your name and number and request an interview then? I just want you guys to listen to this, okay? I'm going to play for you the message that I got, because I got some like rando message on our radio station page. And this is the message that I'm assuming came from him, because it's the only one.
Hey guys, I'm from Standing Rock, and I just want to say I don't appreciate what you're saying about my people. Thank you.
Okay, could you guys hear that? Could you hear the whole thing? I don't know if I can make it any louder. Could people hear that? Somebody tell me if you guys could hear that well. Oh, it's at 100. But I'll play it for you one more time. I'll try to get the phone a little bit closer to the speakers on my computer here.
Hey guys, I'm from Standing Rock, and I just want to say I don't appreciate what you're saying about my people. Thank you.
It's like, I don't appreciate what you're saying about my people. Long pause. And I'm just like watching the little thing move, you know? I'm like, did he hang up? And then he goes, thank you. Did you hear a name in there? Did you hear, I would like you to call me back? I want to talk to you about this. I want to clear up some of these accusations that you've made. I want to give my side of the story or anything like that. No? Well, that's because he didn't leave any kind of message that seemed that he was trying to get a hold of us. Okay. I'm going to read Missy's comment on here. It's pretty funny. I like this one, Missy. It was good. I was like, who is this guy? Because he tagged me, and I'm like, he's trying to get a hold of us. We have like a bajillion ways to get a hold of us when I'm doing the show. It's right on the screen where you can call and leave a message, all of that stuff. And I did get one other message from a woman. I'm not going to say her name because she hasn't gotten back to me yet. I've called her twice. She called me back once and then kind of hung up. Es mi tía Pau. Ma, ¿cómo está tía? Saludos desde Minnesota. Aquí nada más haciendo un pequeño live, leyendo mis comentarios de mi programa de radio. Y bueno, pues la veo, tía, la veo con que se unió al programa y le mando un saludo y un fuerte abrazo y a todos mis primos y a todos. Felicidades in the holidays. That's my auntie. It's on the live stream. I had to say hello to her. Miguel. ¿Cómo estás, Miguel? Saludos. ¿Qué onda? So I got these people that are kind of ticked off at me, but they like tiran la piedra y esconden la mano. They're like, they throw the rock and they hide their hand. They're, I'm mad at Cindy because she's saying stuff. He wants to like posture and say that this will not stand, you know, these lies being spread about his friend, Wiaka. What kinds of things have I said about Wiaka? He's hanging around with a bunch of people that are exploiting the caravan. I don't appreciate that as a Mexican. I don't like that people are going to Mexico, into my country, to exploit my people, exploit the residents of Tijuana. Those people don't deserve that. They don't deserve to be lied to. And I think it's gross. I think it's gross to take advantage of this caravan. And branding the caravan with your prophecies, raising PayPal money for Aerol medicine so that you can go and take your medicine and your message and your prophecy to the caravan and to the Mexican people is, excuse me, but it's bullshit. You don't have the right to exploit the caravan to raise money for yourself and go, oh, we're all one family, we're all indigenous. So because the crisis right now is in Mexico, the financial crisis and the burden of what is happening with this caravan is happening to Mexicans in Mexico. And the people that are hosting this caravan are Mexicans. So for folks from Standing Rock to go, hey, it's time to hold my hand out for some more money because I'm going to do something with my relatives. How did these people join the family and nobody told me about it? We don't know each other like that. Okay. I'm going to read you Missy's comment. That was funny. She says, I am perplexed at the term snitch jacketing. Oh, I noticed that too. Some other person said, Mason Bobby Leonard, who apparently was watching our show and was also horribly offended. He said, I had to tell them, meaning us at the station, truth. They're begging for funds while snitch jacketing. No. Asking people to donate to your Aerol Medicine Caravan Asylum Support Seeker network of mostly white people or mostly American people so that you can go down there to disaster vacation in Mexico and live stream what's happening to the caravan with your own biased opinion, uneducated opinion about what's going on in Mexico and what happens to the caravan is not supportive or useful. That's begging. That's exploiting. What we do is we take in donations for our radio station, which is a non-commercial station, kind of like PBS or, public radio, NPR. And so we have a 501c3, a federally recognized and recognized in 2 states, our nonprofit. So we raise funds for the sustainment of our work. And there is a body of work that you can go back and appreciate and use. It's a resource for the community. It helps get information to folks. What you're doing is exploiting people. That's the difference. And snitch jacketing, what? Well, I didn't even have to respond to that, dude. Missy took care of all of it for me. Anyway, she says this. I'm perplexed at the term snitch jacketing being used to describe good peoples. If they were truly good people, they wouldn't be doing anything for one to snitch jacket on them to begin with. Rather telling, isn't it? Just because you have a loyalty to someone and you've deemed them a good person, in quotes, in your eyes, that doesn't mean they've done nothing wrong. It simply means you don't have any kind of moral backbone, and it's easy to overlook their wrongdoings because frauds back each other up. Because if one fails, the rest of you go down too. I think you nailed it. I think you nailed it. Okay. And here is the rest of this. Y'all can say someone's good till the cows come home, but their actions and the evidence shows the contrary. That's why you mad. Yes. Lol. Cindy has receipts. Yes, I usually do. If you're complaining about snitch jackets telling on you, excuse me, mayhaps you should stop doing unethical and illegal shit for folks to snitch on you for. Yes. It's funny because it's folks like you who are always defending these frauds with great vigor, shouting from the rooftops that they're good people because they've never done anything bad to you personally until they screw you over, and they always do, and y'all are the first ones showing up on Cindy's doorsteps with screenshots and evidence detailing all of the unscrupulous shit you covered for, continued to lie for, and were totally complicit with until they dragged you down. The inevitable. And then all of a sudden you grow a conscience and suddenly you're a truth teller. Happens every time. Lol, y'all are totally cool with looking the other way until the shiz happens to you. Then all of a sudden you can detail all their dirty dealings. Oh man, that is so accurate. Totally accurate. Well, you know, I don't think that it's impossible for people to change or people to grow or to people to realize that they were doing something bad and try to make amends. People say that they can change. I believe that's possible. I don't think it's likely. I don't see a lot of it or evidence of it. But I do believe it's possible. I have seen it sometimes happen. And people I know, and I thought, wow, that's incredible. I never expected for this person to make such a radical change in their life, in their behavior, you know, in their character. I would have thought this person is always going to be this way. And I was wrong. So, it's possible, but like I said, it's not very likely. It's not very common. And for that reason, I check. I verify. I don't just assume that just because someone realized today, this person is a jerk. And now that I'm mad at them because they've harmed me in some way, I'm going to call them out. I'm going to make sure everyone knows about it. And because you assume that when you out some truth about someone, it's after they've done you wrong, you assume that's how I operate as well. I'm just reporting the news in a more animated way than you're used to. Okay. What other comments do I have? There was another one that I got recently. I was like, oh, let me address this. Is it this one? Oh no, it's this guy here. William Crumman. Hold on. All right. So first, where in the heck did it go? Oh, here it is. Here it is. There's my replies, more replies. Okay. He wrote, and this is in response to me talking about Marcus Mitchell. If y'all don't know what the story on Marcus Mitchell was, he was in Standing Rock, and he was in a protest against the Moorhead Police Department with other protesters, or water protectors, as they like to call themselves. And they there was a clash between them, and he was taken to the hospital, and he sustained injuries to his face, and that's as far as I know. I don't know the extent of the injuries. I don't know the prognosis for his ongoing medical needs. I don't know if he lost an eye. People claim he lost an eye. He claimed he lost an eye. But we heard that about Vanessa Dundon, aka Susie Desba. We heard that she also had lost an eye. And in the beginning, when they were fundraising for these folks, you heard that a lot. They're like, this lady lost an arm. She didn't lose her arm. She had a lot of reconstructive surgery, Sophia Wilansky did, but she didn't actually lose her arm. You heard people say, oh man, this is good. I made this apple salad, this Mexican apple salad. It's awesome. Anyway, they said that Susie lost her eye. They said that Marcus lost an eye. They also said that Marcus had a cracked skull. There was all sorts of things that were said, but nothing that was proven. Okay? And anymore, after what I've experienced and what I've seen and what I've watched people from Standing Rock in the leadership, in the so-called medics, in the so-called group of security, in the so-called group of legal staff, in the so-called group of clergy, and the so-called group of, the list goes on. And I say so-called because while there may have been members of the real clergy and of the real medical background and of the real emergency response services within those groups, many of the people that were in those groups were not what they claimed to be. If they said that they were veterans, there was a bunch of people that came with the veterans, that were with the veterans, that claimed to be veterans, that weren't veterans. And some people are very offended by people claiming to be veterans when they're not. Stolen valor at one point was actually a crime. Like, you couldn't just run around saying that you did that if you didn't do it. You especially shouldn't be raising money off of people sending, because people have certain causes that they're very, touched by, that they, if they hear veterans' families in need, they're going to try and take care of those folks because they served our country and they feel very strongly that those people shouldn't be left behind, right? So to exploit that deep value of someone's by claiming you're a veteran when you're not is wrong. Same as it's wrong for you to claim that you're a medic when you're not, or be giving medical opinions when you don't really have the knowledge of what the hell you're talking about, or legal opinions when you don't know what the hell you're talking about, etc., etc. And you know what? I'm sure we're all guilty of that on some level, but these folks are just balls to the wall incompetent about what they're speaking on and what they're getting involved with, aka the caravan right now, right? I think that it's a good thing that people have this reaction to the caravan of human empathy and of wanting to help. I think it's a human nature thing that when you see other people suffering, you go, oh, I want to help. How can I help? Or you feel this guilt that you're, like kind of survivor's guilt when you hear that there's a giant tsunami somewhere or a tornado that tears through a town and you see all the carnage and the destruction. You go, oh my God, my heart goes out to these people. Where can I send, some funds or some resources to them? And there's a bajillion places. It's hard to know. Unfortunately, unscrupulous people take advantage of the fact that they know most of us are going to react and want to help. And so they gain your confidence. That's why they call them con men, because they gain your confidence. They talk to you, and many of these people already have that in with you because you've been watching them since Standing Rock. You've been watching all their live streams when they're sitting there talking to you, telling you about their daily life, right? And then all of a sudden, something terrible has happened to them. Oh, no. Well, that is what Marcus Mitchell exploited. He exploited the fact that people who are very interested in, you know, Indians, Indian issues, sovereignty, etc., and in him and his story and his trajectory since Standing Rock, right? So he said, hey, let me take another bite at the apple. I'm going to pretend I have a gunshot wound. By the way, this guy was already in the process of raising money, various forms, Western Union, PayPal, like he had a number of people collecting money for him and promoting him. John Gonzalez, Joy Brunn of the Indigenous Environmental Network, Laura Livingston Berger, Lolly B, was also raising money for him. All these people were promoting his fundraiser and vouching for him. Mitra Sin, Orlando Cruz, Dan Gaskin, the Glass Man. Very central figures to the story of Standing Rock were standing up for him and saying, help him, he's our friend. He didn't need help though. It was all fake. All phony. And the first time I talked to you about Marcus Mitchell, you will recall that I did so because my viewers and my listeners sent me his video requesting assistance immediately, saying that he didn't get no help from the WPLC. All these other people, they got all the attention. They were flying around the world doing all this stuff, but he got nothing. And he started telling all of his injuries, and he's like, I had a doctor tell me that I'm going to be paralyzed. And I'm like, sit down in a wheelchair, dude. What are you walking around for? He says he's lost vision in his eye permanently. Again, he doesn't verify any of these things, but he talks about very, very serious permanent injuries, permanent damage to his body, for which no one in this group of his friends who were there to rah sis boom bah after he was caught defrauding people online and say, don't you dare, because he has PTSD and he... Does he? And why? Okay, because I have a question. Why are you saying that people that have mental health issues are thieves? Because that was an elaborate scam with a lot of people helping him to scam. So pardon me if I take it a little personally when I get messages like this from William Crewman. That was not supposed, because I said he was supposedly had his eye shot out and blah, 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 right? In my show. This guy goes, it wasn't supposed. He did get his eye shot out. Skull cracked. We don't need it. I just thought if you could get some, I would like some. There's a difference. It's fine. Okay. Did he go? Oh my God. Will one of you come over here and zap my coffee for me? Yeah. Pretty, please? Yeah. With sugar on top? Yeah. I just want you to know, my husband, Duke, Gomez Schempp, is a treasure. He's literally a treasure. I had Nemo text him that I wanted to see if he could get me some whipped cream for my coffee. Because he was out. And I was like, oh, could you text him? Because I don't know what he's doing. Well, he's getting some car part to fix something in our car. But also, he was out and about running errands. So I figured like, oh, I could just like, probably he's going to be at the store anyway. I could text him, can you pick up some whipped cream? And then if he goes, then he'll get it. But he didn't get that message, apparently. And he just walked in the door. And I heard Nemo say, we need to have a can of whipped cream. Like he's giving 2 quarters or something. Oh, I see my mug. Yes, I love these mugs too. I got these from a friend. My friend Lillian got me these awesome mugs. When you're drinking out of it and then it looks like the teeth, it's pretty cool. I like it. So anyway, Duke, here's Nemo. And I did you hear me respond? I go, I didn't say we have to have whipped cream. I said, I'd like some if he's already out and about and could pick it up. And I was saying that because I don't want him to go out in the snow again. It's cold out there. And I hear the kids scream at me back in response to me saying like, well, we don't need it. It was something like if you were out there, you could grab some. And Nemo says, he's gone. He immediately went to the store to get me whipped cream. And now I feel a little bit guilty. Only a little bit guilty. Because I also want the whipped cream. Anyway. Back to Mr. Crummin, excuse me. Although I do think his comment was crummy. He said, it's not supposed. It really did happen. He shot his eye out and his skull was cracked. And I responded, was that self-reported or medically verified? And he says back, Cindy, from what I remember, it was reported when it happened. It was reported when it happened, as was the woman whose arm was blown open. And then he says, Jennifer, ? I don't know if he's calling for some Jennifer person to verify for him the woman who got her arm injured at Standing Rock, who's Sophia Wolanski. Nothing like Jennifer. I don't know where he got that name. And again, my question was real clear. I think I'm speaking in English. Does this sound like English to you? Do y'all understand what I'm saying? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? He said, well, I asked, was the injury you're saying self-reported or medically verified? Pretty simple. Do you have evidence that the guy that claims that his eye was shot out at Standing Rock really did lose vision and the eye? Or is that just what he said on a live stream somewhere? And he responds and goes, yeah, I think it was reported by him. And then he said, then a couple, baby. He doesn't know how to word in English, this guy. A couple days later, there was a live stream of him in the hospital. I actually have a screenshot from then, so I know this part is pretty true. It's pretty true. Oh my God, and I have to show you this picture he put on here. I got to turn this around so you can see, okay? It says, I actually have a screenshot from then, so I know that it's pretty true. Now, I want you to see this. I'm going to put this over here so you can look at it better. And I'm going to make it bigger. It says, I was not there, so firsthand, I am not about I was not there, so not firsthand. I am always about uncovering the truth. Okay, and this is the picture, and I want you to look at it for a second, okay? I don't know if I can get it any closer. Can I make this bigger? Boom. 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 There. Okay, look at it for a minute. Does that look photoshopped to anybody besides me? I feel it like it looks photoshopped. I don't know where he got this image. I don't know, but it looks like an octopus is crawling out of his eye. I'm not sure what that is. I don't know. And honestly, it looks like it's not I don't know. Here's what I do know. Here's what I do know about this guy. He was willing to lie about getting shot in the chest twice, going to a hospital, which none of it happened. None of it happened. So none of it was true. And saying that he was shot in the chest twice and he was scared to die. Didn't have a problem with lying about that at all. So I'm going to say I don't trust anything this guy says, because he's willing to defraud people for money by lying. I also told you that when I first heard about him, I contacted him directly and said, hey, I heard you got left in the lurch by the WPLC. Nobody's helping you. Would you like to talk to me? And he said, thumbs up. You know how you hit the thumbs up in response? So I took that to mean yes, because he didn't respond with words. And I said, okay, here's my phone number, call me. He never did. He never told me when I could call him or a way to reach him. And by the time I did my show, which I went ahead and did in response to all of my viewers and listeners' requests that I follow up on this story of this guy who nobody is helping, he showed up in the comments of the show. And when I was talking negatively about the lawyer, which wasn't helping a whole slew of people, which I've been reporting on, he started attacking me and my reporting and the station and defending the WPLC, the church, and had not helped him. Did that make any sense? It's really weird. It's really strange to me. So then this is what I said. He goes, would it be possible to talk with you later, as I have some thoughts? I have a couple of things to attend to yet for a couple of hours. And he used to. Every time he said to, attend, to, yet, for a couple of hours, he used numbers. This guy. Oh my God. That's pretty funny. And I responded, so you saw stuff that was posted online, because the issue is that unless you have the medical verification of the diagnosis and prognosis for Mitchell, then you can't simply claim he's missing an eye and has a cracked skull. This is the same person who said he was shot twice in the chest and went to the hospital. He posted a fake x-ray. He's a con man. And William says in response to me, I get your point. It's not missing, though. It's reportedly severely damaged. You have a valid point, and me not being able to personally substantiate this obviously can't say anything further. I did see a video, which is probably still out there somewhere. It was definitely in a hospital during those assault times in Standing Rock. And he put ding in capital letters. I don't know why. You got to see this. It's just, oh my God. His wording in English is crazy. Can y'all see that? Okay, let me read this to you. You see how he says Standing Rock. Okay, that's a little bit bigger. So he says, I feel bad for those caught in between the levels of some of the deceit and yes, PTSD. So now you're a doctor, William. You can't even word in English. And now you know he has PTSD. Again, where is the diagnosis? I feel bad for those caught in between the levels of some of the deceit and yes, PTSD, which I have been made increasingly aware of since the standoff. Not to give validity to a person's actions from trauma, though, having lived through my own childhood trauma and looking back at my dysfunctional acting out, by extension, I have a certain empathetic sensibility around some of these things. So just because something happened to you doesn't mean it applies to everyone else, William. That's not how the world works. Just because you acted out when you had PTSD, if you were diagnosed, doesn't mean that this guy who was stealing from people through online things wasn't doing something wrong. And I don't think that people with mental disabilities or mental impairments appreciate you comparing them to a thief. This had nothing to do with his PTSD. Him trying to scam people online, he didn't hit his head yesterday and then decide to go defraud people online. These injuries happened over like nearly 2 years ago. So, I'm not buying it. Marta. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo está la salvaje? Marta, you should come visit me and sing karaoke with me. ¿Se te antoja? Let's do it. Let's do it, Marta. You can do disco songs. Okay? And he goes on. He goes on defending this guy who was stealing from people online. He says, I am not justifying his deceitful actions, but know how I felt and acted for a big chunk of my life. I have to somehow soften my perspective and heart on the mystery of how humans operates. Well, let me solve that mystery for you, Scooby-Doo. You don't go around stealing from people and then claim PTSD when you're caught. Because believe me, if yours truly here hadn't exposed the fact that, is this hot?
Did you drink it at all? In the time?
I did.
I wasn't sure. Here, quickly while it's still cold.
It's here. All right.
Because I figured that's what you wanted it for.
Hell to the yes. Uh-huh.
Nice.
And some for me.
There you go.
Some for the coffee. And some for me. Thank you, baby. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so the mystery's solved, right? You don't go around claiming that you have mental illness as an excuse for defrauding people, because that makes you a thief and a hypocrite. That makes you a thief and a douchebag, because you didn't take responsibility for your actions. And none of the people that were helping him scam others for money online and that have stood in solidarity with other scammers. John Gonzalez, this isn't his first rodeo standing up for and promoting people that scam people online and commit crimes like covering up a rape and kidnapping, like Mike Fassig did. So John Gonzalez has promoted those people. Arsonist Dean Dedman was promoted by John Gonzalez as well, traveled with him. The guy that dedicated burning buildings at Standing Rock to our station. John Gonzalez has been promoting phonies for a long time. Is he sorry? Hell to the no. He's not sorry. He can apologize for having a big heart. You know, people die from enlarged hearts, John. Just saying. I'm just saying. It could be fatal to you. Okay. So all of this, I have a big heart bullshit. Like they try to sell you on this like idea that I'm just a super good person and my heart is so big that it fits con men and snake oil salesmen. I got room in here for the KKK. I got room in here for everybody. Everybody get in there. Is bullshit. That's what it is. Excuse me. But it is. And he's like, I'm not justifying his deceitful actions, but knowing how I felt and acted for a big chunk of my life, I have to somehow soften my perspective. Come on, man. You are exactly justifying him. That's what you're doing. And you're also justifying yourself. You need to justify yourself because you did some shitty shit like he did. And you're like, well, if he's all the things Cindy is saying about Mitchell, then am I that too? I can't be a bad person. Yes, you can. If that's what you're doing and then claiming it's PTSD, you're a douchebag. You are a douchebag. It's the perfect name because douching is something that we don't really need to do and it's actually harmful. It has no purpose other than harming people. And a douchebag is a thing that was made to douche with, right? And since nobody needs those things, nobody should use those things. It perfectly fits what Marcus Mitchell is, a douchebag. And he says, yes, it hurts. Yes, I'm angry. Yes, it needs to be called out. I feel as though a person that would go to that extreme would seem to be quite out of balance state and perhaps could use some counseling rather than castigation. Oh my God. Hey, did you guys know that Marcus Mitchell was castigated? You know what the fuck that means? It means he was punished. What was his punishment? Can anybody tell me? Hello? Anybody home? Did y'all know that Marcus Mitchell went to jail? Can somebody Google that shit for me? When did this happen? He was punished. Was he punished? No, he wasn't. He actually wasn't punished at all. In fact, the only thing that happened to him was that a bunch of other douchey people, like yourself, William, came to his defense. Oh, yeah, he was caught red-handed defrauding people online, which is an effing crime, but never mind, because you know what? PTSD, and also, can't you have a bigger heart? Like, seriously? Ugh. I am sorry, but please, There are people that got, okay, this part is gold, okay? Listen to this bullshit. There are people that have gotten money all along. Okay, so the argument here, if you're listening, is other people besides Marcus Mitchell have been criming the entire time. Marcus Mitchell just started criming more recently, while others of the Standing Rock phonies were criming 100% of the time. Perhaps I'm reading this incorrectly. You tell me what you hear. There are people that have gotten money all along. I am absolutely not passing judgment here. But Marcus was not one of them. How do you know, William? How do you know? How do you know that he wasn't all the time? How do you know that the WPLC wasn't paying him the entire time? How do you know? You don't. You just like to talk out of turn because you feel like you need to defend him. And my question is, why? Why do you need to play the devil's advocate? The devil has enough advocates. Why are you standing up for the devil all the time? Why are you standing up for what's wrong all the time? Aren't you tired of this nonsense? He's like, there are people who've gotten money all along, but Marcus wasn't one of them. Till recently. Very sad. Meanwhile, I feel what you are doing is important. Thank you for validating me as if I needed that. William Crumman continues. My feelings around all of this, what is happening now and at the border, at Standing Rock, and the conduct of some people there, the activities of persons since the reactions and actions taken place and the effect on my own self of all these elements are varied, deep, and complex. Whoa, what a bunch of word salad that was. Many emotions and feelings and wants, which I now know how to do. That does not even make sense. What the hell does that mean? I feel like he has a mental illness. I'm not sure. What he writes is so like, So I am always, in all caps, seeking to see through the layers. Through, he spelled it THRO. Through the layers of dynamics involved in life, semicolon, especially in these very intense life experiences. ... Oh my God. It would take a small book for me to completely fathom everything I feel, and definitely a good chunk of time to do it. William, I have some advice for you. I feel like you've been hanging out with Dean Dedman too long. And if you continue to do so, we won't be able to understand anything you say. Okay, buddy? This is for your own good. And please don't write that book. No one would be able to read it or understand it. Please don't write it. I thank you for your effort in bringing certain things to light. It feels... It feels a bit @ moments, though, THO, like you, just the letter U, are throwing all the standing, again, all in caps, all of the Standing Rock people under the bus. Does it? Does it feel like I'm throwing all the Standing Rock people under the bus? At what point did that happen? Or are you just imagining nonsense again? I am talking, and I have been doing so for years now, exclusively almost, about people that committed crimes, lied, defrauded, hid the, either buddied up to and or hid the story of Kathleen Bennett's innocence, because they were working with and allied to those who falsely imprisoned her. Be they media, be they whatever. I uncovered that a lot of the people out there had ulterior motives, that did bad things, that cozied up to very, very bad people, and continue to be in relationship with them. Not just, you know, they did a live stream once. They're like doing business together. They're working together. They're traveling together. And they're openly showing those connections now. They're openly showing that they're all working together now, as we see them in Tijuana, as we see them in Texas, as we see them here and thither and yon. And I'm like, okay, so you're not even hiding the fact that you always have been with these folks. And, you know, we have a saying in Spanish, si te queda el saco, póntelo. It's similar to if the shoe fits, wear it, right? And I think this guy put the shoes on, ran around in them, and went, I feel like you're attacking me. And you know what that tells me, William Crumman? Because you identify with the fraudster here. You identify with all the fraudsters I have been, quote unquote, throwing under a bus, as you claim. And if you are identified more with the fraudsters and the frauds that they are committing, and you understand, you got space and understanding in your heart for them and not for the people that they exploit, the people that they robbed, the people that they have harmed and wronged, then you're more like them. You're more like the people. You're more like the fraudsters than you are like the defrauded, right? And that's what's it's messing with your insides. It's messing with your mind that, you know, you can't muster any anger or empathy for the people that Marcus Mitchell and others have been exploiting and defrauding, whether it be at Standing Rock, after Standing Rock, and now in Tijuana, now in Mexico. You have empathy in your heart for the thieves. You have empathy in the heart for the people down there exploiting the caravan like they're circus monkeys. You have empathy in your heart for the people that are asking for a handout off of pictures and suffering of people in that caravan. That's who you have more empathy for, right? Because you have a big heart. And then he says this. Oh, I love this part. Then he gets personal with me. It's going to become personal now. He goes, sorry. Denigrating all hippie-ish people, like diminishing some people, very real, intense life experiences, and the resulting PTSD. He put it in quotes. He put it in quotes. Do you know that when you put things in quotes, it means you don't think it's real? Right? Willie? Oh my God, this guy's such a moron. What a maroon. Actions. Okay, let me try to word salad you through this again. Denigrating all hippie-ish people, comma, like diminishing some people, very real, intense life experiences, and the resulting PTSD actions thereafter, ... The general mocking tone used finds me having a gut reaction to to that also. Uh-oh. I keep losing. I don't know why that screen keeps going off. I don't like it. It makes me sad. The general mocking tone used finds me having a gut reaction to that also, and adds to the uncomfortable mix of emotional mush, ... Pardon the critique, period. That was supposed to be a sentence in English, in the English language. Did you understand that sentence? I'm assuming that he's upset that I'm denigrating all hippie-ish people. Okay, well, I don't know if I'm denigrating as opposed to describing, because it is a pretty well-known and accepted fact that hippie culture was white people pretending to be Indians. White people taking on the some of the characteristic features that you associate with indigenous people, like men with long hair. Oh, and you know what I'm talking about. It's pretty well accepted that white folks have been appropriating indigenous cultures forever. So me pointing out reality is not denigrating. And me telling white people that they don't have a right to appropriate our culture is not denigrating. It is my opinion, and I am stating it. White people, keep your hands off of our culture and don't wear us like a costume. Is that too much to ask? If it is, you're an a-hole. You know? Simple as that. That's all I'm saying. And what these people are doing, people like Lolly B, this is true. Lolly B is now walking around telling people she's Colombian. Remember the post in which I showed you that this woman who's not Indian, or Lakota, I should say, she's not from that region, went to Standing Rock, and she was like at Coachella. She didn't wear a war bonnet because she knew that she could only do that at Burning Man, where she also loves to go and be nude and do drugs and watch people have orgies while some of them are wearing war bonnets and pretending that they're playing sacred drums and sacred music and taking sacred coals from Standing Rock and having their little orgy party. Lolly B is somebody that mocks the tradition of indigenous people, that claims it, likes to wear it, likes to brand it, likes to sell it. What she's really good at is yoga and going to rich people parties. Because she's a rich girl and you're gone too far, but you know it doesn't matter anyway. She is. She is a rich girl. She's a party girl. She likes hanging out on people's yachts, you know. And it's okay for me to point out when people like her, who love to trip the light fantastic, are now venturing into the whole, you know, disaster vacationing like she and others are doing. Going to Puerto Rico, going to Tijuana, and exploiting the people in the caravan. It's gross. Then this guy says to me, like, I'm diminishing very real, intense life experiences. No, if I call out the fact that you're defrauding people on the basis of a lie, and I proved to you that he used fake x-rays, and I proved to you that he never got shot, and I proved to you that he lied about going to the hospital, that is not me diminishing the experiences that he had or that you feel that he had at Standing Rock. And I'm also asking for receipts about his prognosis and his real medical condition from Standing Rock, because he's a liar who lies and defrauds people for money based on claims of fake injuries. You think if he did it now, he couldn't have done it before? You know, that's why I'm saying. I'm just asking questions. I don't, you know what? People are like, why can't you trust that blah, 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 blah. Trust and verify. That's what I always say. Check it out. Check it out. I gave a lot of these folks the benefit of the doubt for a while until they proved otherwise. And then I called them out because that's what you're supposed to do. And then he says I'm mocking people. Look, if I didn't laugh, if I didn't have a kind of jovial attitude about some of this stuff, it would be downright depressing. I would be constantly depressed. I would be crying all the time because of the crap that these people do. I would be infuriated. I would have an ulcer. I would have a heart attack. I would have high blood pressure. I could possibly even die, because that is how awful the things that all of these folks have been doing are to real people, including myself, my family, and our station. We were affected because we were simply trying to report the truth about how somebody framed a woman, right? And for that, people from all of these groups at Standing Rock that I've told you about came after me, came after our station, came after... They sent people to our house. And also, you know, I find it really annoying that just because I'm using a platform to report stuff to you all, people think that they somehow have some form of control over you. And I get it. I'm a woman, so I'm supposed to be prim and proper, not raise my voice, not chew with my mouth open, keep my legs, keep my knees together when I sit, cross my legs. That's a bunch of misogynistic BS, okay? Tone policing people of color because white people don't speak as animatedly because they trade in the currency of laws and rules and politeness and respectability politics, which only apply to people of color. They don't apply to them because white people lose their shit all the time and nobody says anything about it. When a man asserts himself and raises his voice, he just wants you to listen. And if the communication isn't going through, he raises his voice to make sure that you're hearing him, to get your attention, right? And that's perfectly okay because he has a penis. But if a woman does it, she's an angry Latina. She's spicy. You know how much of my life I have had to put up with that kind of nonsense from men? I don't really care about whether or not people find me grating or abrasive. They like the tone of my voice or how I did my hair or whether or not I'm eating. I could give a shit less about any of that. And I have a right to my emotions about what's happened. I am expressing what I feel about them. I'm giving you my opinion. I don't just do what some places like the Young Turks does, which is regurgitate someone else's work and then just talk about how they feel about it. I actually do my own investigative journalism and then put forth all of my work before you. Kind of like I used to do in my legal briefs when I was a paralegal, and I show my work. Here's my argument. Here's the evidence. And I let you decide. Nemo, can you zap me? Pretty please, with whipped cream on top.
I don't know about the whipped cream. Do you actually want whipped cream?
Yeah, after you zap it.
Yeah, okay.
I gotta keep it warm. Keeping it warm. It is so damn chilly up here. So, I guess you guys are going to have to suck it up. If you're going to watch me, you're going to get a range of human emotions from a woman doing media work. I know, it's odd. And the fact that she's a brown woman makes it even scarier. So, hold on to your panties, okay, guys? A woman is going to talk at you sometimes in an assertive tone. Then he says, pardon the critique. I do feel for me, it takes away from the professionalism and gravity of your reporting. Oh, so now you're going to dismiss my reporting. I can never win. Don't you see? It's impossible. These douchebags put you in a corner, pigeonhole you into a place where no matter what you do, you're invalid. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, right? I have to have gravitas to my reporting. So I have to always be prim and proper. I can't have an emotional outburst. I can't talk loudly. I can't be assertive. I can't be angry. You can't have any emotions. Only penises can do that. What? This guy is just a sexist piece of shit. Pardon my critique. I am again very glad you have done what you have to get behind. Again, he keeps using twos, the number 2. You have to get behind the veneer of illusion. What? Let me read that sentence to you again. I do feel, comma, for me, comma, it takes away from the professionalism, ampersand gravity of your reporting, ... I am, comma, again, comma, very glad you, capital U, have done what you have to get behind the veneer of illusion. Yeah. Sounds like English, but does not make any sense at all, right? I am always seeking to do the same in my own life, and all of this is poking at symbol me. Again, to keep dragging, comma, pulling, comma, weeping, comma, and laughing. Oh, dear Lord, I need a good dance now. Peace. Woo! Okay, crazy pants. Well, there is my response to that nonsense. And I just have one more thing to say about all of this. This is something that I'm going to incorporate into my Spanish show. This is the bee's knees. It's so yummy. It's a traditional Mexican Christmas salad that we make with apples and pineapple and raisins, and I know this is going to sound weird, mayonnaise, sour cream, and sweetened condensed milk. Just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. It's so good. Anyway, here's one of the reasons I get upset about these folks. And I know most of the people out there that support them feel like, hey, at least they're doing something. Yes, but I believe that going off half-cocked to just do something when you don't know what the fuck you're doing can actually be more harmful than good. So, thank you, but no thank you. And let me tell you why that is, okay? I'll give you an explanation. I've told you immigration law is some of the most difficult law in the country to understand, other than perhaps tax law. It's so complicated. And if you don't know what happens in detention centers, how that whole system works, instead of helping someone, you could actually be harming them. And as for all of these legal or quasi-legal groups that are advising people in the caravan, whether it was when they were still in Central America on the route here or now at the border, I think need to be very careful as to what kind of information they are giving these folks, what kind of false hope they are giving these folks, because the very real consequences of putting a lot of hopes and dreams into people crossing into the United States is that they could die. That little girl that everybody keeps talking about right now, she died in ICE custody. That happens real often. So for everyone that just recently decided to pick up giving a shit as a fad for your Christmas holiday or whatever, it's been going on for decades. Decades. Okay? So it seems a little, it feels, for those of us who have been watching this, reporting on it, talking constantly about all the rapes that go on in there, yes, even of children, the separation of families, the deaths that happen in ICE custody, the starvation that happens, the dehydration that happens, the freezing, the torture of people that happens in ICE detention, all of those things, they don't happen once in a blue moon. They happen constantly, not just at the hands of ICE, but also Border Patrol. The fact that there is no oversight of these agencies, the fact that a majority of them are being privatized so that there's even less regulation or oversight, the fact that there is no punishment meted out to Border Patrol, and that every year, every time that they are reviewed and that they are investigated, it just gets uglier and uglier and uglier, and we still don't do anything about it as a country. All of those things should be weighing on the minds. The fact that our court system for immigration is so backed up that in some cases it can take people who are applying for sponsoring their relative to get citizenship can take a decade. A decade! So people that are walking around talking about the law, especially immigration law, saying, people have the right to do this and they have the right to do that. What you're doing is interpreting the law. And you're not a judge. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And you're giving people false hope about stuff that could lead to them ending up in a detention center for a number of months, if they're lucky. And or being beaten, abused, raped, separated from their families, frozen to death, experimented on, tortured, sterilized. Oh my God, the things that happen in detention. You don't even know. Let me give you an example, okay? One of these people affiliated with the Standing Rock phonies that I've told you was bringing people, literally trafficking people from Central America through Mexico and the United States, is the leader of the LGBTQ caravan, Pitaya Queen. Now, Pitaya told a group of caravanners from last year that she's got sponsors. She said this in interviews that I played recently on my shows, and you can go back and watch those. If you want to go see that stuff, it's all on kpppfm.com. Point is, she goes, tells these people, that's why, this is what she said in her interview. That's why people come to me, because they know I'm American, because they know that I have sponsors waiting to take them in. We have people to bail them out of the detention centers. We have people that are going to give them jobs. We have people that are going to give them legal advice. I'm connected to, I'm a student. I have been studying migration. I am a doctoral student from Harvard, and people know everything about my history. They don't. She's a liar. And one of the things that she has reportedly been doing and has now confirmed in her own interviews is giving these people those kinds of hopes that she can do all of this stuff for you when she can't guarantee a goddamn thing. Because she ain't no immigration lawyer, and she doesn't know what the decisions of the judges are going to be. And you know, this stuff is so volatile, it changes from administration to administration. Let me give you an example. DACA. If you don't know what DACA is, go look it up. God damn it, this screen. I don't have any more whipped cream. Hold on. Oh my God, it's getting better. It's getting better. I do. I don't need more whipped cream, but I want more whipped cream. And I think I deserve it. So, okay. Pitaya Queen had amongst this group of people It looks good. Thank you. Pitaya Queen had, among these group of people, a woman named Roxana who had AIDS. Did Roxana disclose this to Mexican authorities when she went into the country? No. Did she disclose this to American authorities when she was taken by Pitaya Queen to turn herself in to the border authorities, which automatically took her into custody and put her in a detention center, like they're going to do to 99.9% of the people that jump that border wall illegally? I'm not against migration. I am not against this migrant caravan, and I am not against migration, period. I believe people have the right to migrate where they need to migrate. But I'm also aware of the reality of a border wall on the southern border of the United States. I'm not going to pretend it's not there, because it is. I'm not going to pretend we don't have laws here that they're enforcing to the T, because they are. And I'm certainly not going to tell a bunch of vulnerable people, some of which only have on average a 6th grade elementary education, that they're going to have this pie in the sky American dream that's probably never going to fucking materialize, and that they're going to end up in a jail cell separated from their family members, tortured and exposed to all of the possibilities, the range of possibilities that I just gave you, including death, because that would be a horrible fucking thing to do. Do you know about the Guatemalan woman that crossed with her 6-year-old child in the big caravan of people, the wave of people, many of whom were separated from their kids when they put the kids in the cages? Do you remember that little Guatemalan girl that died? Beautiful little baby that she was like a toddler, 2 years old. Died very, very much in the same way that Jakelin, the 7-year-old that we recently heard about in the news, died because of medical complications. She very rapidly deteriorated and died. And guess what? Elderly people and little children can go from 0 to 60 in a matter of hours, sometimes in a matter of minutes. I remember, I have babies. I had babies. Well, they're not babies no more, but they're still my babies. And Nemo, did I get whipped cream on me? Nemo was really sick when he was a baby. He would get a fever, and it would get out of control really, really fast, to the point where, you know, you're like, oh my God, he's going to die. He's going to start having seizures. And he did at one point. So this stuff is really, really scary. And if you don't have rules, procedures in place that are always followed to ensure the safety of children in custody, children in jails, children in cages, which shouldn't even be a phrase that we speak in the English language, but it is, then people die. People die. And I'm sure that you could ask that mom of that 2-year-old little baby whether, and she's already actually said this. She said, if someone had told me that there was even the remotest possibility that I would be separated from my child and something like this could happen, I would never have come. Of course she wouldn't have come if somebody had told her that they could take her child away and that her child could end up dead. Guess what happened to Roxana? Remember, Pitaya Queen, the leader of the LGBTQ caravan, told her that she was going to get her in the United States. They have sponsors. They have people. They got all these things waiting for you. But what she didn't tell her is, oh, by the way, I'm going to turn you over to detention facility people that are very likely to rape and or abuse you, because the people that get more raped and abused in this country, who go missing and die more and nobody gives a shit, are transgender people of color, especially, right? So what made you think, because in America, the most vulnerable people are the ones fucked with the most in society, but also way, way worse in jails, way, way worse than anybody else in detention facilities? and even more so in those that are the least regulated in our country, detention facilities for ICE. So, why he didn't tell her that? Because there's been so many stories of transgender people that have been abused and tortured and hurt in detention facilities in the past. I don't know, but didn't seem part of the narrative that she was telling anyone, or that she still is telling anyone, or that any of these phonies that from Standing Rock or anywhere else are telling the people in this caravan. Did you know this? That the people that are most abused are the people that come from these countries, or that the children are the ones that suffer the most and get most ill and have all these problems? That women aren't even given enough sanitary napkins. They have to free bleed in detention. All the horrible things that happen to them. And so Roxana, as her autopsy showed, was beaten and tortured while in detention. She had AIDS, and her condition, because she was kept in very poor conditions, in most of these places they don't have beds for people to sleep on. There's not even enough room on the floor sometimes for them to all lay down at once. That's how crowded they put these cages together. And she was left with a deteriorating pneumonia in a very bad condition, and was then taken to a hospital when she was at death's door, and she died from complications of HIV. Now, why would someone like Pitaya Queen, who likely knew this woman had AIDS, not tell the Mexican authorities and not tell the American authorities? Well, let me tell you something. There's this little thing called communicable diseases. They don't let you into this country if you have hepatitis or tuberculosis. And yes, they make sure, at least they try to contain communicable diseases, to ensure that they don't spread. And even though there's a higher likelihood among LGBTQ people because of the amount of persecution around the globe, by law in some countries, against them for something that they're born, that is why it was more likely, it will be more likely for someone filing a claim of asylum that is transgender to actually get asylum, but not if you have AIDS. Not if you have AIDS. They'll go, oh, you have a communicable disease. I'm sorry. Can't give you asylum. So that's probably the reason why Pitaya Queen kept that from authorities and also from Americans. That's also one of the likely reasons why they didn't know right away what the fuck was going on and she died. But also because she's transgendered, she got beaten and abused and tortured. And guess who Pitaya Queen blames? You took her from her home country all the way to the detention center door. You took her all the way there with false promises and lies, Pitaya Queen, and then you go, she's dead. Well, that's not my fault. It's not my fault that immigration authorities are abusive and racist. Yeah, but you put her in their crosshairs, you assholes. You're the ones that are responsible, and you probably didn't tell her what she was going to be up against. But you don't think you're responsible in any way for what happens to those people. You think the people in the caravan are going to thank you when by the thousands they end up in for-profit prisons, lining the pockets of rich stock owners in those companies? Unable to work or support their families back home, or even maybe see their families themselves because they get separated, husbands from wives, children from mothers and fathers, siblings from each other, people are separated, and if you're not related to someone and you are traveling with them, even worse. Even worse. You think those folks are going to appreciate it? I've heard some racist people say, well, at least in the detention centers, they're better off than in their home countries. You compare being in a cell the same as being better than being free anywhere on the planet? That's just stupid. So these folks are not just dangerous because they're exploitative and narcissistic and sick. They're dangerous because they're ignorant and incompetent. People like Lolly B and that hippie dude, the hippie white boy that's down there with her, like to put the costume of being Mexican on for a day. Lolly B is now proudly telling people that she's Colombian. She probably has no verification of that. But, you know, she can pretend Indian all she wants. She can pretend, you know, trying to appropriate whatever culture she's visiting for the moment. But we don't have to let her. We don't have to allow that. We don't have to like it. We don't have to support it. We don't have to fund it. I'm not going to. And I find, you know, people like constantly telling me to get off their backs, stop criticizing them, stop explaining to folks what their lies and frauds and past crimes have been to warn other folks, because you think that they're good-hearted people trying to help others out. I'm sorry. That just doesn't work for me. It doesn't fly. I'm not buying it. I don't think that they're just innocent idiots out there with their big hearts, just trying to do the right thing. And oops, sometimes they step in it. Nah, it's too much of a coincidence. Either they are bumbling, naive idiots, or they are complicit criminals, and it doesn't really matter to me which one it is. I don't care about their intentions. I know that the outcomes are that they're going to end up putting thousands and thousands of people in detention centers. Many of those people will be raped, tortured, abused, and some of them will die. And these people don't give a fuck. They won't look back. By the time you try to hold them accountable for those deaths and for the things that happen, for their lies, for their frauds, they'll be on to their next scam. So I'm going to keep doing what I do. And y'all can keep commenting and criticizing, whatever. Everybody has a right to their opinion, right? You do too. This one was mine. Okay, let me see. Hey, buddy, I haven't seen you on my live stream for a while. How's Muscatine? Take your snitch jacket off, Cindy. All right, I'm going to give you a little bit of time to ask me some questions. I don't usually do this, but I'm on my public page, so I can sit here and shoot the shit with you for a second. It can be about anything. I don't care. Señor Ignacio, ¿cómo está? ¿Sigue bailando? Le mando saludos desde Minnesota. ¿Cómo están? ¿Sigue dando clases, maestro? I saw my ballroom teacher, my ballroom dance teacher on here watching me. I'm saying hi to him. Okay. Who else is on here? Surely this is a way to hold Miss Queen personally, criminally liable for this shit. Kathleen, laws are only good as their enforcement. And if people were always held accountable for all their wrongdoings and the laws were enforced equally, equitably, then yeah, there would be a way to hold her accountable. If, for example, Roxana's family back home in her home country brought a lawsuit against Pitaya Queen individually and or Pueblos Sin Fronteras as an organization and or in a lawsuit, which of course then they would have to find someone to file, and or brought a claim against the people that fund or support Pitaya Queen for, you know, putting her up to doing this work. She claims that she's not supported or funded by other people, but then she claims she is too. So yeah, it's kind of, it's sketchy. But unless somebody does that, nobody's going to hold her accountable. Who's going to hold her accountable? She does things behind the scenes. She claims she's not the leader of the caravan, so nobody can hold her accountable for the deaths. So nobody can hold her accountable for any crimes that she commits, any lies that she tells. Everyone makes decisions together. It's Winnie Wong's, you know, Occupy Wall Street bullshit that everyone tries to do. It's a really good tactic, I think, for people to do this organizing and not be held responsible for any of the outcomes of their revolutionary tactics. Oops, I'm trying to read comments here. So yeah, I wish there were more ways to hold people like this accountable, Kathleen, but unfortunately there isn't enough money for people to sue them, and there is not enough prosecutors charging people internationally for crimes like this, unfortunately. It's more likely, in fact, that her family, if they decided to, would bring a lawsuit against ICE because it's the deep pocket. And when you sue people, you go after deep pockets. You don't go after people that don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. And what other comments and questions do we have here? Hey, Brad. Who else is on here? Have you notified the Border Patrol, etc., about the Standing Rock scammers too? I have notified a variety of news and law enforcement agencies. I expect that would include those law enforcement agencies to be sharing that information with each other. Because those folks are communicating. For example, I showed you that Bertie Gutierrez was saying on her live stream, and other people were complaining that they were being questioned, including media people like Unicorn Riot, that they were being questioned. What are you doing here? What's going on? What do you know? The reason they're asking them is because they know about them. They know, and they're looking for them, and they're trying to find who's doing this shit so that they can stop them right at the border and go, get out. Don't come into Mexico. So I have, and I'm hoping that it's working. I'm praying that it's working. What else do we have here? I think many of these frauds have debts to pay off and are being used to infiltrate and escort migrants right into the Lions. Me too. I also think they've already showed evidence of wanting to traffic people themselves, to move people themselves. And while this seems like, oh, just such a noble cause, I would not want Luis Monsiváis trying to cross anybody. I wouldn't want anyone to even travel with Luis Monsiváis anywhere in this country or within or without, because that guy is a fraud. And he's probably endangering anybody that goes near him. So, yeah. There's obvious evidence, to me anyway, that they're trying to... Why doesn't it let me expand Kathleen's comment? I hate this. Okay, fine. Fine. I won't read that one. It says reckless endangerment question, but I guess that would depend on if reckless endangerment was part of the... Wait a minute. I can read your comments online. I just had a brilliant idea. I hate it when... Does your phone do that? Like when you're trying to read comments and stuff and you try to expand to see more, it doesn't work? Does it do that to you? Because it does it to me and I hate it. Oh, I can read it, Kathleen. Reckless endangerment, but I guess that would depend on if reckless endangerment was part of the law in Roxanne's home country and those countries in between. I think that reckless endangerment or reckless disregard for life is probably, something that most countries recognize. The question, again, isn't about what laws there are. Just because a law exists doesn't mean that it's enforced. Doesn't mean that someone is going to charge you if you break it. It doesn't mean that everyone that breaks the law gets charged for it, right? In reckless endangerment cases, especially when a third party is partially or a lot, you could say, responsible, if not solely responsible for someone's death, they have to look at whether or not they have enough evidence and will of the people to take this prosecution to court. So, although it is reckless endangerment, I don't think anybody is going after these folks. I don't think anybody went after Myron, Ed, all of those people and their reckless endangerment of human life, including what they did to Mary Trujillo, right? And if they had, maybe Lacey Jean Williams wouldn't have gotten raped and kidnapped. Maybe people along the way in the routes of the hurricanes wouldn't have gotten defrauded. Sexual harassments wouldn't have taken place. Maybe if they had stopped these liars and these frauds when we were reporting on what they were doing with the Kathleen Bennett case, the girl that was raped by Jordan Sheridan would have been wise to the situation and avoided what happened to her. But that didn't happen. And Missy says, I am thinking, Missy says, I think many of these frauds have debts to pay. Oh, wait. That's what, that was the other one. Do I have to... Why can't I see more recent comments? I'm making you hungry. What's ambrosia? I don't know what that is. I'm trying to see your... Oh, this is much better. The dominoists who have staged a coup of our governments with their heresy, blasphemy, and apostasy, their seven mountain bullshit, and their moral insanity live to persecute LGBTQ individuals, and it is the dominionists who are the ones who are pushing the privatization of prisons because this aligns with their heresy they call the prosperity gospel. And it is the dominionists who have created an axis of evil, with the nascent racists in this country also have used ICE as a means of purifying the racial makeup of this country. Yeah, but again, people that aren't from here, that are from Central America, and even in Mexico, a lot of people are sold a bunch of bullshit about, how great America is, how easy it is to get jobs and get rich here. And I've listened to countless interviews with people from this caravan, and they really think that they're going to come up here and they're going to get this badass job and send all their money back home, and then they're going to buy a ranch or a house or something. And they're going to have it made, because back home and where they come from, the houses and land are a lot cheaper. It's not that easy. And you can manage to do that if you are allowed into this country and if you manage to survive being here in the United States. A lot of people die in that. Ambrosia, it's whipped cream and fruit dessert. Oh, yeah. Hey, Ty. How you doing? How is Muscatine? You still Muscatine? I'm just over here shooting the shit. Just checking out comments, answering some questions, because I don't usually do this. I got another question here. Ooh, did you see the Patricia Okomu, the Statue of Liberty climber, climbed the Eiffel Tower in France recently? No, I did not. But I did see her hanging out with some Standing Rock ponies. Did you see that? There are some people from Standing Rock that kind of like glommed onto her and were like, everybody's paying attention to this woman, so we'll go and exploit this situation. Stephanie Boyle White Dove says, I love you all. I truly believe Mitra was used by Marcus. I also think that sounded like Marcus on your answering machine. Much love and respect to you and your family. I also believe people are at the border for fame and money, just as you shown. Okay, Stephanie, I love all of you guys too, but let me just tell you how I truly feel, okay? Let me just tell you, I'm speaking from my heart. I know you truly believe Mitra was used by Marcus Mitchell, but I truly think that that's just hogwash. Mitra contacted me. I haven't told you all this on my show. Fuck. Am I going to have to show you receipts here? Just know. She contacted me. Because I'm trying to read the comments over here so I can respond to you. But she contacted me on 88.1 and she said, hey, I have a bunch of incriminating shit on that Dan Gaskin and Orlando Cruz, and they're such liars, and they were trying, and she said that she started raising money for Mitchell to, oh, God damn it. Let me just go and find it. Wait, I can open another window, can't I? Yes, I can. Boom. Basically, Mitra gave me an ultimatum. She said, hey, I heard your show. I heard what you said about me and Dan Gaskin and Orlando Cruz, and they are defrauding pieces of shit, but I am not. I will give you all the evidence about them and how horrible they are. Dan Gaskin, Dan the Glass Man, and Orlando Cruz, if you exonerate me. That's what she told me. And I was like, ultimatums? I don't do ultimatums. I'm sorry. That doesn't work for me. I said, if Dan Orduno, the Glassman. Sorry, Gaskin is not right. Thank you, Colleen. I'm sorry. Ugh, all these names start to run together for me. Yes, Dan the Glassman, Dan Orduno. There's David Gaskin. I'm surprised I can remember so many of these people's names and backgrounds and details. Aren't you? Like, it's a lot. So, where is she? I'm going to find her right now. Oh, so long ago. Shit. Let me just do a search on here. There's a way to search in here, isn't there? I don't. Shut up. Stop giving me instructions. Facebook's always trying to tell me something. Did you know you could do this? I'm like, I don't care. Oh, God. Hurry up. Mitra. Search. Oh my God, this is so slow. Why is this so effing slow? Oh, there it is. Just so you know, I'm not a liar. Shut up. Okay, here we go. Come on now. Pew. Okay. Oh my God. Look at this craziness. Okay. See, I always have receipts, everybody. Mitra Sin. There it is. And she said, I can give better evidence-based facts about Dan and Orlando. Orlando is straight up lying, and I can prove it. If he's off the hook blaming, his off the hook blaming will not take responsibility at all. I have the most insane shit on Dan too. None of them are welcome back to camp, Two Dogs. I have videos, timestamp posts, screenshots. The catch is, what's the ultimatum, Mitra? Based on the evidence, you clear my name. If you heard the video, you would know. I only post friends only. I will never publicly, what Orlando has done and is still doing wrong. And then I said, hey, Mitra, if I have erred in my assessment of what occurred, I will correct the record. I would need to see your evidence, etc., and speak with you as well. Best way to share with me would be to my email, just let me know. And then she says, yes, traveling right now for a few hours, about to go live. Sorry, friends only. I have bit my tongue long enough on Orlando. Like, I'm going in, I'm gonna go and tell everybody about this guy, right? And I said, okay, thank you. Glad you're speaking out. I'll look forward to hearing from you and reviewing your evidence that you claim you're going to give me in exchange. Of course, she wants me to exonerate her. And I'm like, I will if I have to, if I find that I was wrong about something. So I don't do the thing she wants me to do. And I told her I need to see your evidence. And days pass. And then she writes me, because I am living alone off grid, I have also keep myself and the land safe. I have to also keep myself and the land safe. Okay, I don't know what that means. Then I said, did you send the evidence you mentioned to my email? And her response was, not yet. And then she launches into this whole tirade about how she's being harassed, her life is basically in danger, and that prevents her from sending me the email or sending me any of the evidence that she had demanded that, or that she had told me she was going to send me, that exonerated her and proved that she wasn't in on a scam. Did you see? Did you see? And then she doesn't send me anything ever. She then sends me a message about Marcus on the 9th. And then again, on December 6th for something, she got a bee in her bonnet because I mentioned that that Olivia Bias, one of the women that gave false statements to the police about Kathleen Bennett and defended the person, Mulaney Stoneman, that kidnapped Mary Trujillo, and I said that she was here in North Dakota again recently when they gave the ruling, they gave the sentencing of Angry Bird, aka James White. And I said, hey, it's all the usual suspects. The people that framed Kathleen Bennett are just, you know, bobbing around Bismarck, North Dakota again, all holding hands in a drum circle singing Kumbaya. Nothing ever happened to them. They were never punished for any of the crimes that they committed. And they continue to be together on this. And I was talking about how she was a pretend Indian, that she was appropriating culture, that she was claiming that she was suddenly an Indian when she had never claimed this in the past. And Mitra took offense to this. It was just like the guy that sent me that long raging message about, you know, my mocking tone and, you know, tone policing me because I'm a woman and apparently women aren't supposed to be assertive or something like that. this person was also very insulted because, she's a card-carrying Cherokee, Eastern Band Cherokee, and they did not immigrate over the Bering Sea. Then she goes into this whole weird tirade about the New World, and I'm like, okay, but do you know that I'm actually married to an anthropologist? Because first of all, you don't know what you're talking about, and second of all, why are you defending olive bias? I mean, I'm just saying, like, I know most of today's talk has been me telling you, like, people's comments to me, questions to me, and my responses to those. And a lot of them are criticisms of me calling out people for things they're doing wrong. And I have been told this by immigration attorneys time and time and time again. There are unscrupulous people that are ready to exploit people that are undocumented. There are people that don't have law licenses that are claiming they can help you get papers. They can help you get residency or citizenship or filing this or filing that. A lot of the folks that are doing that are committing a crime. It is a crime. It's not punished nearly enough. I think it definitely should be, because the people that are getting exploited are the vulnerable people that are undocumented. You see? And that's what's happening to this caravan. And if these folks, I have pretty credible evidence that has been sent to me that indicates to me, not to mention that there's been corroboration by various people in these groups saying they're seeking safe places to cross them into the United States. Like Louis Monsivice and others that have said they're seeking ways to bring people in illegally. That's a crime. You're now trafficking people. And if you guys decide to do these crazy things and put people in all of this danger and make decisions for people or try to give them legal advice when you don't know what the hell you're talking about, whether or not you're prosecuted for the crime, you are doing something very wrong. It is definitely something in many cases that is illegal. Will you get prosecuted for it? I don't know, but you shouldn't do it anyway. How about that? Don't do it just because it's wrong. And you're exploiting people, and you're putting people in a lot of danger. I don't have any sympathy or empathy for anybody stupid enough to tell people that they're going to take them across the border. And if they get arrested or something bad happens to them in the process, I don't feel bad for them. I feel bad for the people that they made promises to. And, I think a lot of these folks have just have like really, really crazy defense mechanisms for these phonies, because there's a little bit of phony in them that they recognize, and they're like, I have some compassion for these people that are lying to the caravan and defrauding the caravan and exploiting the caravan and trying to commit crimes against them and traffic them and use them as some kind of a weapon to shut down the border. Because I see a little bit of myself in that person, and I think you should be more compassionate for them. I don't have to be. I don't have to be compassionate. I can be righteously angry that those folks are lying to folks, that they're creating these pie in the sky dreams for them, and that they are driving them into very dangerous situations. And I will continue to do so. All right, let me see if there's any other questions really quick, and then I'm calling it quits. I just wanted to answer some of y'all's questions and talk a little bit with you. Wait, I was supposed to be doing that over here, wasn't I? I lost my spot now. All because of that. Okay, here we are. I found it. Won't call them out. Why have people stop protecting each other? They have knowledge and font. Call them out. Why have people stop protecting each other? I don't know. what that means. I'm not sure what that means. Sorry, guys. Let me see. And now she is hiding. Derek Budd. Who's hiding? Damn, that was the same ploy that Jennifer Reed from Activate Now tried to pull on me. Haha. Lives are always in great danger. Yeah, they're always in great danger. Send me PayPal money. Ooh, see, this is what my comments are all about. So, I was reading the comment about Mitra, and you saying that you think she's really, she was used, she was abused. You can believe that. That's okay. And you can want to find redeemable qualities in her. You can even like her. I don't dislike any of these people. That's not what I dislike, their actions. I frequently have discussions like this with my own children. Calling out bad behavior, wanting it to stop, confronting it, and having a very stern discussion with them about things I don't want to see them repeating is not me disliking them. In fact, that's me loving them. And because I care so much about this issue, and because I care so much about the very people that I'm calling out, I am being treated like I'm some kind of ogre that is mean to people all the time. What, you've never been disciplined? You've never been told that you've never been confronted? You've never been called out and told that you're doing something wrong? Sounds like you're a brat to me then. If you're so uncomfortable with someone telling you that you're hurting others and that you need to stop. And she could have protected more from donated. Yes, she could have protected more from donating. She could have also returned the money. Instead, everybody was told, oh, they're rolling it over. They're going to give it to someone else. I've heard that before too. And I just think like, that's not cool. I keep loving people by telling them the truth. My mom always told me, la verdad no duele, pero sí que incomoda. Truth does not hurt, but it sure does make you uncomfortable. It's true. And the truth is, currently, our immigration system, you can say it's broken, you can say it's unfair, you can say it's racist, but what it is a set of laws that are enforced a certain way, and there is a wall at our border, and you have to deal inside of the parameters of reality when you're talking about what this caravan can expect. I heard one of these people recently say, I don't know if it was Jesse Sandoval or Lolly B on a live stream. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. If someone out there remembers who said this on their live stream, tell me. Because I heard it and I literally was like facepalm. I was like, oh my God, que pendeja. They're like, oh, for our lawyers out there that are watching and listening, we need some research on how U.S. citizens can sponsor someone in the caravan. Like, what's the paperwork for that? How do you do that? I've said this, I've repeated this to various people, and they're like, that's not a thing. But these are American citizens, and they think, many of them are very wealthy people, as I've shown you. The French guy, Lolly B, they come from very privileged backgrounds, and they think that because they decided they wanted to help people in the caravan now that it's in a fad, well, can't I just sponsor a child or something and then just have them brought over? Like, is that a thing I can do? No, it's not. a thing you can do. Just because you decided you wanted to help the caravan doesn't mean that the laws automatically change and now Americans can just randomly sponsor people they want in the country. That's not how it works. It's never been a thing. If that was a thing, all of the Mexicans that wanted to bring their family members here that are American born, that are citizens of this country like me, would be able to sponsor anyone we wanted. And it's not a thing. It's never been a thing. It will probably never be a thing. So for someone to even say that, was it Jessie Sandoval? That Sandoval was it her? Missy? I don't know. I don't remember who it was, but I watched it and it really made me go, oh my God, these people are effing morons. This is so scary. They went in there with their big hearts and they're like, I want to sponsor someone. How do I do that? Could you please get those lawyers on it? Because I want to sponsor my refugee. I'm like, Jesus Christ. These people are so stupid. They're leading people into really dangerous waters and criminal conduct. And if you cross the border illegally, it doesn't gain you any advantage in requesting asylum. In fact, it is going to count against you. Guaranteed. 100% guaranteed. So for those people telling the caravan to jump that wall, all they need to do is get 2 feet into this country and it's going to be a much higher likelihood that they can request asylum. They are selling lies to vulnerable people, naive people that want desperately to believe them because they're Americans. And that's evil. It is evil to do that to these people that are so filled with hope. All right. Maybe one more. One more and then I go. I appreciate the truth. I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to say that. Joy, thank you. She says, I appreciate the truth. I'm just going to say that because I've donated a lot of money because I really wanted to help. I'm not a wealthy person, but I've always believed in helping people, someone who needed it. But if you aren't honest with me, I'm done. I know, me too. And after I saw these folks lie once, I was like, well, you know, if you could go to the great lengths that most of these folks went to lie, to cover up the thing that they did to Kathleen Bennett, I knew they were capable of that and much worse. I thought, like, who separates an elderly 82-year-old Lakota woman with dementia from her only caregiver, from her main caregiver, and leaves her to die in a hospital? I really can't think of a more heinous crime than what they did to her. And they were all, some of them were proud of it. And some of them defended tooth and nail the people that committed that crime directly. Bill Runningfisher, Mulaney Stoneman, a lot of these people continue to defend them. They will ride and die. They will die on that hill. And that to me makes them very weird, crazy, dangerous people. And if you just joined me, you're going to be disappointed because I'm going to go now. Hey, Porn, I haven't seen you for a long time. Man, all my Muscatine peeps. How I miss you guys. I haven't gone home in a while. And you would think that North Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa, it's all the same. It is not. It's very different. I so appreciate the warmer weather of Iowa. It's great to see all of you on my live stream, and thank you for listening to me rant about comments and answer questions. And if y'all liked it, maybe I'll do it again when I have some free time like this. Okay? All right. Thank you for being here. Check you later. Bye.